Hello and welcome back to another great edition of this week's MPTV Coaches Show. Eric Myers, Ryan Lindley, and Coach Lindley. We've had a booming week in Potters athletics.
We have a lot of postseason going on, and let's just kind of jump in first. Let's talk girls basketball to start this one off.
So we played on Tuesday night. How'd that game go? Tell me a little bit about that.
Played Washington, conference rival. That's going to be a theme of this show too, is matching up with the conference rivals. But
split, right, during the regular season?
Yeah, split during the regular season, and came out and got a 40-35 win. So advancing to the sectional final. I mean, very defensive-oriented game, very, very physical. But Lady Potters, really led the whole way through, and like I said, 5-point win and play Lincoln for a sectional title.
Yeah, sectional title is going to be tonight, right? So that's a big deal. It's going to be at East Peoria High School right there. So obviously, if you can get out and support them, let's talk a little bit about that Washington game. What do you think the difference maker was in that Washington game that kind of let us lead throughout that game and maybe not pull away, but keep the lead comfortable the whole time?
I think it's just balanced scoring. I mean, you look at it, right? Didn't have a player in double figures, but had 2 players with 9, 2 players with 8, right? You get to 40 points. That's a lot of balance. You kind of break it down, 2 with 9, 2 with 8. So balanced scoring, and then obviously, defensive rebounding, right? When you win 40-35, those 2 things got to be huge.
Totally agree. So great job right there. Some of the things, I think we did a really good job there with some defensive switches. Coach Becker really makes it, put Katie Brock in a little bit, but Julie Lauferberg to put that press up there, a little bit of size, I think, threw Washington off, maybe some of those that we're expecting.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we probably did play a few more players too, so maybe the depth made a big difference at the end when you go to that fourth quarter tight game, a little bit fresher legs as well.
So again, tonight at East Peoria High School, 6 p.m., sectional championship, playing number 1 versus number 2 Morton. Number 1 Lincoln, number 2 Morton. That's a big matchup right there. What else you got to say? It's going to be a tough game, right? It's going to be tough. Lincoln's undefeated.
Yeah, going to be a tough game. Potters have been in this situation twice before, going back to Richwoods in 2018 and 19. One of the times Potters won, one of the times Richwoods won. But I'll say this, right? If you're Coach Becker, you have literally been in this exact game, 1 versus 2 for a sectional title multiple times. So obviously a successful coach, trade on that experience, and I bet she's got a game plan to give the Potters the best chance to win.
Always. Never doubt Coach Becker, right? I think that's the one thing we've always had right there. So, and there's always a chance. You never know what's going to happen. That's why we play these games. That's why they're on the schedule, is because you show up, you give your best efforts, and you leave it all on the court. So I'm sure the Lady Potters will do that tonight. So switching gears, last night the boys had another matchup with Washington. In Limestone.
Yeah, regional semi. Boys get out there, played I think really well. Got off to an early lead, held on to that lead. Washington made a few pushes, but a really tight, competitive game. But Gus Rugard, senior, stepped up 11 out of 12 free throws in the fourth quarter to help the Potters pull away.
Not only that, I was listening to your broadcast last night. He had 7 in the first half, 7 in the third quarter, and then I don't know what he ended up with in the fourth quarter. But he took it on his back right there. Senior leadership, drove to the hole, made some good layups. The game was flowing for him last night.
It really was, and you said it perfectly. I think senior leadership, right? Mm-hmm. And we actually talked to Coach Zeller after the game about that exact thing. So let's take a look at that.
Thank you. Let's just talk about this. There's 1,000 things to mention, but Gus steps the line in the fourth quarter 12 times, makes 11 out of 12. That's a senior.
Seniors, yes, absolutely. Seniors make those type of plays. We talk about seniors leaving the legacy because it's Evan and Gus's senior year. So having to make those free throws is nothing. That's what we expect. So that was awesome.
And then just talk about just kind of the game as a whole. It felt like Washington, to their credit, was extremely resilient. They would not go away, but you guys always seemed to have the response when they would make a push.
Yeah, you play a conference team, one of your rivals, that's a very good team 3 times, 2 times in 8 days. It's going to be a battle like it was tonight, and they find a way to make shots, and especially it seems like in the fourth quarter. But we did a great job responding, and just credit to our guys for just getting it done. It's never easy. Every game in the postseason is a challenge, especially when you have to play a team like Washington in the first round. So, very good win.
I'll let Coach jump in here.
Yeah, you guys, you're already looking ahead, I'm sure. You already thought, your opponent. How you go into this? You got a great crew here. How do you build them up for the next one?
This is a team that is a veteran team that has a lot of varsity experience. They lost back-to-back regional championships the last 2 years. I really don't think I have to do a whole lot to get these guys ready to go. If they're not, it's been since 2014 since we won a regional championship. We are motivated. We are ready to go. In a way, we're playing with house money because everyone thinks Richwoods is going to win anyway. So I'll relish the underdog.
There you go. I love it. Just before we let you go, because obviously want to get you back, get the guys back to Morton. Just kind of talk a little bit about kind of the unsung heroes in this one. We've been talking a lot up here. Obviously, Gus was great. Ended up with 29 points by my math. Admit it's English teacher math. So you might check the iPad on that one. But, I mean, I felt like Tripp did a really good job against heavy pressure. I felt like Evan had big blocks down when Washington had a couple opportunities to score. Just those guys that maybe don't jump out in the scoring column, but really impacted the game.
Yeah, even though Barlow's had some huge games for us for scoring and everything else, him guarding Lewis and then being able to guard Vanderheit and then being able to guard Duncan, and with his activity with his hands, and I thought he did a tremendous job on defense, and sometimes be overlooked by fans or by sports writers or whatever, but you gotta have guys that can defend, and I thought Evan and Tripp did a great job. And I thought Grant Selke tonight gave us some huge minutes and did a great job facilitating, getting some rebounds that we needed, and again playing the great defense that he can do.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get out of here, but
all
congrats,
right, thanks, guys.
Always good to move.
See you guys on
always
Friday.
Good to move on to Friday. Yeah. Absolutely.
So as you hear there, Coach Zeller was pretty pleased with that performance. Big test coming Friday night at Limestone again for the regional championship. Peoria Richwoods, big physical team right there.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way of saying it. Richwoods, obviously, physical. Obviously, their star player is going to Rutgers, as a post guy. So
size too.
Size,
that's
yeah.
the big thing.
Yeah,
I think is going to be our tough matchup there. We're going to have some options. Do you put Cal on them? Do you put Wes on them? It's going to be one of those things. I watched a little bit of that Richwoods game, and I know you did too. I was really impressed with Somerville's ability to get the ball in the post and then skip pass or pass out of everything. So that's going to be something the Potters are really going to have to defend against.
Yeah, you talked about Coach Becker changing up the defenses on the girls' side. It'll be interesting to see on the boys' side when we get to Richwoods on Friday night as Coach Zeller kind of change up his defenses. Right, we talked off the air before we started recording this about double teaming Somerville, but you mentioned again he's a good sense of when the double teams come and get away from it. Do you start throwing some zones at him? Maybe that's something different.
Got to do something different right there. But anywho, tomorrow night 6 p.m. at Limestone for the regional championship. That's going to be a big game right there. So let's switch gears. Our Potters wrestlers last week our boys Potters wrestlers went to University of Illinois for IHSA State, and they competed. Did not go the way that I think they would have wanted that to go, but hats off to our wrestlers. And actually, we have another MCUSD 709 wrestling team happening right now. So let's hear from MPTV reporter Andrea White as she goes behind the scenes with our junior high wrestling team.
It's a big part of my life. I've been wrestling for 10 years. So, it's just something I love to do. And wrestling, it's a tough sport, but, you're going to learn a lot from it. And, as you go through the years, you're going to make a lot of friends and, make a family, a wrestling family. So when you move on in life, you learn grit, hard work, all these life lessons that are really important. We've had a lot of success in all the duels. Very good year last year, and hopefully this year we can repeat that. Get another regional championship, hopefully get a sectional championship this year, and hopefully go very deep in the postseason.
I couldn't do it without my coaches, Coach Iggy, Coach Gashon, Coach Glasscock. They all helped me a lot during practices, just helping me do the moves right and helping me just win in the corner in my matches. For the postseason, I want to place top 3 in state. I like the brotherly love in the wrestling room and on the mat. Just with everybody, always hanging out after school every day. It's a fun sport. You just gotta really commit to it because it's pretty hard.
As a team, we've been doing pretty good from last year, but we lost a few guys, and then we've lost some meets because of that. But me, I've been doing pretty good. I feel like I've been improving a lot, and I'm gonna be doing better at state this year. I plan to get first in regionals, place either first or second in my sectionals, and then hopefully place again at state.
Well, my goal is to be a state champ because I've been working for it I got 6th my 6th grade year, 3rd my 7th grade year, and then I'm shooting for gold my 8th grade year. But yeah, I got my 100th win this past tournament at the Mid-State Duels. I was pretty glad to finally get that marker. I'm a captain this year, and so I have to encourage my teammates. The pace has to continue to rise as we get toward regional, sectional, state. And the captain's role in that is actually a really big deal when it comes to especially since we have a lot of first-year wrestlers. they really need someone to like look up to and someone to push them. I just like the program, and I feel like the program continues to grow. And I think my 6th grade year was like the first year they allowed 6th graders to wrestle, and I'm hoping they can get maybe 5th graders to start wrestling to continue to grow the team. I feel like it overall has like helped me because of like my conditioning and my stamina and my strength, of course.
Coach Cashel, he looks scary. He really is, and he's just like a big bear. And once you get to know him, he's just really fun, and he makes you work really hard for what you get earned. And all the assistant coaches are great. They're funny to talk to. They're really helpful too.
Coach Gashaw is very tough on everyone, but it shows out there. He gets us in these positions where we have to get a little bit nervous. So then in a match, if we're in that same position, we're ready for it.
I feel like he's a pretty nice guy. I feel like he's like kind of like a gentle giant. But he wants you. Of course, he's gonna want you to try. He's gonna want you to push yourself. He's gonna want you to push up your other teammates. But he's nice, and then whenever it comes to like serious time, he's pretty serious.
So as there you can hear, our junior high team is off to some really good things, and Coach Gashaw's really got one of those things where got some wrestlers who are doing some good things at the junior high.
Yeah, I know he's really pleased, and he said going into this year that he expected a strong season, and I think the guys have lived up to that.
For sure. So speaking of living up to expectations, let's go to the pool. Our boys swimming team, as you know, has a co-op with Washington East Peoria, and they won sectionals again. So they're headed off to state. I think more state records were met in that meet right there. So, great job. It looks like all of our Potter sports are simply dominating these winter seasons.
Yeah, and obviously, the payoff is the postseason, right? You work really hard, you go through regular season, and the postseason, the opportunity to really kind of show up and show out, if you will. And you got those swimmers have done a great job. We got wrestlers that went to state. We got a girls basketball team that is going to be playing for a sectional title. Boys are going to be playing for a regional title. So, all these young athletes, it was really impressive kind of where they are right now.
Yeah, so speaking of showing up and showing out, how about tonight? Everybody in Clay Nation Potter fandom, head out to East Peoria High School, 6 p.m. for that girls basketball sectional championship, and tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Limestone for the boys regional championship. 2 huge games. Obviously, if you cannot make either one, they will both be on the NFHS network for the Morton Potters. So, Coach, you got any final thoughts?
Obviously excitement for the game tonight. Again, like you said, everybody try to get out there and get out there early. I was talking to some of the Lincoln fans at the game on Tuesday night, and they made the comment that, they take pride in filling up the gym. So I suspect it'll be a big Lincoln crowd. Let's get a big Morton crowd to match that.
Not only that, so we have some history there. Let's just circle all the way back here. We played Lincoln earlier in the season, so we understand what they're about. I think both teams have probably improved throughout the season. I think we've improved way more than they have. They've had their core here for a couple of years together. So it should be a really good rematch right there.
Absolutely. Really excited for it. And then spring sports start next week. So a lot of stuff happening in Potters Nation.
So there we go. So for Ryan Lindley, I'm Eric Myers. Until next week. Thanks, guys.